Hello, and welcome to Sunrise Mall in Massapequa, New York. This is a mall that has reached the end of its life, and it will be closing permanently on December 31st, 2022. I've made a couple of videos about this mall before, but they were shorter videos, and I really wanted to record a longer walkthrough type video while I still can before the mall shuts down. Here is the entrance to the food court, and here is Penney, which closed down in 2017. I visited the mall at night about an hour before they closed, and it was a little bit creepy in there, but the mall is still staffed with security guards. It's not abandoned, so it was okay. As you can see, Macy's is still open. I came in through this entrance that is upstairs by Macy's. There are usually very few people in this mall. The only people that I see are people who are doing laps around the mall for exercise. Here's the updated directory. Every time a store closes, they just scribble it out with Sharpie. On my right here, we have the mall office. Looks like they taped over the phone number, so you can't call them, but they do have a hotline that is open from like 7 in the morning to 11 at night every day, where they'll just answer questions about the mall. So you can find that number on their website. All these monitors that they have around the mall that used to show advertisements have all been turned off. None of them are working. It's all here, guys. There's a lot to see. And here's that paper directory taped over the old directory. Macy's backstage is still open, of course, but everything else is pretty much gone in this mall. This mall opened in 1973, and it was the very first two-story mall on Long Island. Roosevelt Field at the time only had one floor, so this mall was a pretty big deal. This dollar store only closed pretty recently, but it was pretty funky in there because before it was a dollar store, it was Noodle Kidoodle, and they kept the original floor, they kept the lights, and there's all the way in the back there's like a little stage. It was very exciting in that dollar store. Here on my right, we have what used to be an Auntie Anne's, and behind that is Express. Next to Express is Victoria's Secret. Those have both been gone for quite a while. Up until like the end of August, there was music playing in the mall, which made it significantly less eerie inside. But when they shut the music off, suddenly I noticed all of these beeps that were coming from every direction. There's so much beeping, and I spoke to a security guard about it, and he told me that it's the responsibility of the store owners to turn off their alarms, and they just don't. So the alarms are just going off constantly at all times. They're louder in certain parts of the mall, quieter in other parts, but no matter where you are, you can hear some beeping coming from somewhere. Also, the branding is very interesting in this mall because, as you can see, that Sunrise Mall logo is a sticker. So this mall used to be a Westfield mall, and when the new owners bought it, they removed all the Westfield branding and they covered it all with their new logo as a sticker. and in some places it's done very well where you can't really tell, but in other places it totally doesn't look right. Here is Penney, which closed in 2017, so it's been a while. I asked a security guard one time if it would be possible for me to take pictures in there, and he told me that the building has not been taken care of and it would not be safe for a person to go in there. So that was good to know. Here we have the beautiful, majestic elevator, which is so iconic, and I'm gonna come back to it later. I'll use it, but I didn't want to here because there were some security guards talking on the lower level, and I didn't want to disturb them. So on my right here are some of the stores that are still open. These are stores with outside entrances. Their leases are not expiring, so they will remain open after the mall is closed. There is the gym, Export Fitness, and then we have Raymore and Flanagan, Dave & Buster's, and then downstairs is Dick's Sporting Goods. My other videos about the mall had music playing, but for this one, I really wanted to capture like the sounds of this mall because it is so quiet in here. All you can hear is like the sounds of the building, like the beeping and then some buzzing that's really loud in certain parts of the mall, but there is no music. There are generally no voices because nobody's really here. It is so quiet, except, okay, that noise was the PA system, the intercom. Every time they make an announcement, that mic that they use, I don't know what they do, but it makes this very loud noise. And I jump every single time. I jump. And you'll see it again at the end of this video. It is so loud. And here we're approaching the food court. I have many, many memories of this food court. There is no food in here anymore. It's very peaceful here. This part of the mall is like probably the most quiet because there aren't any beeping alarms in here. And when I walk in through the food court entrance, I feel like I'm walking into a library or a museum because it is just so quiet. They have certain areas roped off. They've gotten rid of a lot of the seating, but some of it is still there. I don't know who is sitting there, but there it is. This is new. This is actually the first time I've seen this sticker that says "Not Here." That's covering the H&M logo. H&M closed on October 1st, so very recently. But just in case anyone was confused, H&M is not here. Here we have an abandoned Haagen-Dazs. So when I walk out of the food court and walk to my left, that is where I will find what used to be Sears. So this part of the mall that I'm approaching now is, in my opinion, the creepiest part of the mall. For two reasons. The first reason is that you can see right into Sears, and it is completely empty. It is very creepy, and it's dark, and you can look right in. The other thing is that any of the businesses in this mall that are open are not at this end of the mall. Like, once you approach the food court, everything is gone. Every single store is vacant. The stores that are open are closer to the middle of the mall or down by Macy's. This whole end is just so creepy. You can see the light from outside coming in there into Sears. And here is, of course, the koi pond, which is covered and walled off. All of the fish have been moved to other locations. They're all being taken care of. You know, there were rumors that they were being neglected, but this mall has never been abandoned. It has been staffed consistently, and they were taking care of those fish, so. Visit the Family Lounge and Playtown. There's a sticker that looks a little bit out of place. So we're gonna head downstairs to the Family Lounge and Playtown. These escalators are not working, so I'm walking downstairs. In front of me, you can see in the tile on the floor, there's that sun design. I think that was the original logo for the mall. And of course, the restroom and family lounge are closed. But I'm going to show that sun later on too, because there's an old logo that I found on the Sunrise Mall website that looks exactly like that, which is pretty cool. And Playtown is closed too. I can't believe it. Here's the walled off koi pond with a sign to let us all know where the koi fish have gone and that they are all safe. This mall was getting a lot of attention on TikTok and I guess YouTube from people who were concerned about those koi fish, but they were feeding them every day. I don't know why people thought that they were not doing that, but they were. This used to be Forever 21, and then this white storefront was H&M, which again only closed very recently. Rest in peace. Dick's Sporting Goods is open, but they have closed their mall entrance. Following the signs for online order pickup. Oh no, there's nothing here. So this Avon store has been sitting here closed and fully stocked for well over a year. The owner actually passed away. There is a sign on the door for her services, but I don't want to show that. And I've been told by mall security that the mall can't do anything with that store because everything in there belongs to this woman, and there's actually a court case happening right now to determine what's going to happen to all that stuff. So now I'm walking towards the downstairs entrance to JCPenney, which I think is significantly creepier than the upstairs entrance, because it's covered by this black curtain, and you can move the black curtain to the side and peer in through this plastic covering that they have, and you can peer into the store, and it is far creepier than Sears, I think. Look at that. There's no natural light in there, there's no windows, it's just totally dark. Very ominous and spooky. This Dunkin Donuts used to be a Starbucks, and I didn't show it here because there was a security guard talking to some people on the other side, but there was like a little court there too, a little, like, you know, there was seating, there was a Haagen-Dazs there too. It was very cute. And it was, back in the day, it was like always full of people. And I remember when they got rid of Starbucks and they put Dunkin Donuts there instead, I remember thinking, ooh, that seems like it's not a good sign that Starbucks left. On my left up here is HomeGoods. HomeGoods is another store that is not going to shut down with the rest of the mall. It has an outside entrance and it's going to stay open. And it's down here by Macy's, which is also staying open. So I usually do see like a few people down here just because both of those stores do get a fair amount of customers. And this bright orange wall here is the Wall of Fame. Those glass plastic square things used to hold posters for various mall events where singers and actors would come and they would do performances or they would sign CDs. I actually met One Direction right here. Well, not here. This is a candy store. Oh my god, that's one of those noises again. Right in front of this Macy's is where I met One Direction in 2012. If you can believe that 10 years ago, One Direction was here at this mall, signing copies of their debut album. Refresh, recharge, because there used to be vending machines there. And this is where I came in, and I was about to leave, but I noticed that the lights were starting to shut off because I was about 15 minutes from closing, and they shut the lights off to try to get people to leave. But I decided to stay an extra couple minutes to get some footage of the mall with some of the lights turned off because I think it's extra creepy. I've been coming to this mall at least a couple times a month pretty consistently since June-ish, because that was when I kind of realized that this is the end and that every week that goes by this mall is just getting more and more dead. And this is the mall that I grew up with. This is the mall that I always went to when I was a very little kid with my mom, and then when I was a teenager with my friends. This is where we would go to hang out, and it's really sad to see how it is just dying. It's dead. It's already dead. But it's like every time I come, something is different. Like something has been moved, they've gotten rid of something new, they've put up a new sign. It's like I'm watching it die. And it's really sad, but it's also really interesting. So here is the elevator. I got a little spooked in here, so my apologies. This video is not great. But I remember when this was a Starbucks and there was all this seating right there, and you would go down this elevator and to it just looked like a sea of people. Not anymore. Oh, my favorite store. And here is the beautiful elevator from below, and the Dunkin Donuts.
No. Definitely
That
not.
boom that you heard was the noise of people dropping weights in the gym upstairs. That's what the security guard told me. I don't know why this says please do not sit here. I definitely used to sit there. There used to be plants in there too, but they're gone. And now we're reaching the end of my tour. I'm actually gonna leave now because the mall's closing in about 5 minutes. They're gonna make an announcement on the loudspeaker. It's gonna make me jump. And I do hope to make another video about this mall in December. I'm gonna document its final days. There it is. Its final days, its final hours. I'm gonna try to get as much footage as I can of that. And I hope that you all enjoyed watching this. If you live near this mall and you like to see dead malls, definitely come check it out before December 31st because it is a sight to see. Thank you so much for watching, and if there's anything you want to see in the next video, let me know in the comments.